welcome to the Gentlemen's Club live with your host, the commissioner, and the three-time champ, Andrew Simon. This guy's been in the championship game the last 2 years, and he's won 50% of the time. It's Eric Hastert. And this guy is in a 10-man league. We've had 9 different champions, but he's not one of them. It's Brian Hastert.
Once again, Brian Hastert is not here either, and neither is Simon. First and foremost, happy anniversary, Simon. He's celebrating that tonight, I believe. So have fun tonight, you rascal. And happy anniversary. All right, boys, we're back. It's been, I think the last time I was here was week two or three. So, all right, volume's working. We're good there. It's now week 7. It's flying by. It's moving super fast, and we have a lot to get to, but I'm going to try to keep it as quick as possible. We also need to update that intro because it said I was in the championship the last 2 years, but it's actually been the last 3 years now. I am only 33.3% winning, repeating, of course, in the championship game. Hopefully I can get back there. It's looking like I might. We'll see. Looking at the standings right now, your boy is 6-0. I'm not sure when the last time anyone started 6-0 was, but I'm sure it has been a while. I actually just checked. I thought I was like, I'm like on a winning streak from last season, but I forgot I lost to Brian in the championship because Kamara got hurt in the third quarter of that game, and I lost by 1.5 points, but we won't go there. But I am on a 12-1 streak since my last loss, not including the fucking championship. But we got A-Ray in second at 5-1. We have a big battle this week. We clearly know what game of the week is going to be. Brian coming from the grave, Scotty from the graves at 4-2. He is right above Caleb because he's got more points. And then we got Miller at 3-3, Simon at 3-3, Dylan at 2-4. Not looking too great for Dylan. He was off to a decent start. He has cooled off. I know this week we'll get to it. Why he lost, but that sucks with Marvin Harrison getting hurt. And then we got 3 teams at the bottom, 1-5. We are looking at Mitch, Brady, and Dustin. Dustin there at the bottom. It's going to be interesting to see who wins that pot. I think A-Ray picked Dustin to take last. I know I picked Caleb. That's not looking good. But Simon will give us an update on that whenever he gets back. Looking at the points, as you can see, Miller is actually in second. So not looking good there. He's having a little rough stretch, not getting those wins. High points against, but not terrible. I'm at the top, and then you guys can see the rest of the way. Caleb's a little his record's outperforming his scores there, but we'll get into that. All right, boys. Real quick, let's take a look at.
I like that, and I really like that. So if this is truly a conversation, then I say let the conversation begin.
Looking at pickup of the week, we're actually going to go back a couple weeks just to see what happened. I mean, we could go back a few weeks, actually, just because it's been a while. If there was any big pickups, Bucky Irving was a big pickup. Juwan Jennings was and wasn't. He definitely fell off pretty fast. Cole Kmet, I think he's still on Simon's team. That could be pickup of the week this week. He's looked good the last couple of weeks. But we'll get caught up to our week. Looking at last week, that's 2 weeks ago here. Jordan Love, I will give that to Simon. Brady dropped him. I know he got Baker. Baker's been looking good, but Jordan Love is a top 10 quarterback most weeks. So pretty much a terrible drop there, like you did with Jake Ferguson. This one quickly. I picked up Calvin Ridley again like an idiot, and I already dropped him. So that was a waste of money. Fucking clown right there. Calvin Ridley's terrible. You guys can have him. Young Hoku, probably the pickup of the week that week. He did really good. Maybe Brock Purdy, also a free quarterback. And finally, the actual one. This nothing happened. I was surprised. There are decent pickups on the waiver wire. No one really went for him. Brian trying to get that Aaron Rodgers pickup. I know Kyler Murray's been disappointing him, and I think he dropped Justin Fields, which was smart because he's not starting this week. So unfortunately, Brian just gets it by default here because no one picked anybody up that week. So good job, Brian. Not. All right, let's go ahead and get into I should have had this going, but that's all right. We're going to go ahead and get into our recap of last week. Let's go ahead and take a look at Brady's team here versus me. It was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Brady put up some decent numbers this week. You'll win most weeks. I think you probably would have beat like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you'd be 4 other teams, so not bad, not bad. I pull up Fantasy Pros, but I use that for my work league as well because I'm commissioner over there, and it literally locked me out from swapping leagues. So currently my work league is locked in there, so I can't do the Fantasy Pros stuff, unfortunately. But sorry, real quick, we'll get to this. Not like it really matters. Where did that go? Oh. All right. Me versus Brady. Beat Brady by, what is that? I can't do math. 13 points, something like that. All right. Baker went off. He's looking really good. That was actually a pretty good pickup. Like I said, I know you dropped Jordan Love, but that depth would have been nice there, having both of those quarterbacks. Maybe could have traded one of them. Bijan finally doing something. He has been weak this season. Hasn't looked great. Zach Moss, I know he was hurt. Maybe he comes back and does more next week. But Chase Brown down here, that's his backfield. Called it since I drafted him. I was like, Chase Brown's a better back. He's going to take over, and it looks like it's finally happening. Let's hope that can continue so I have some depth. Amon-Ra, decent game. He's been disappointing so far this season, but maybe he picks things up this week against Minnesota. And then T. Higgins, decent game. Everyone else, I guess kicker defense was actually pretty solid there. So not a bad week for Brady. It just wasn't enough. When you have Jaden Daniels, who's like the number 1 quarterback right now, Derrick Henry, he's the number 1 running back right now. Breece Hall finally doing something. It took him a while, but he's back, baby. They switched out play callers in New York, and look at that. He went from like 8 points to 20. You'll love it. A.J. Brown finally coming back, and, of course, Nico Collins goes to IR. So once I get both those receivers back, it's going to be nasty. And I'm already 6-0, so I like that. Bad week out of my tight end and DJ Moore, but David Montgomery, Mr. Consistent. Help me get the dub. Move on to 6-0. Brady, 1-5. Moving on to Justin versus Dylan. It was an ass whooping here. Not even close. Dylan not even putting up a fight. I know, unfortunately, Marvin Harrison left this game early. Didn't score any points for you. So that sucks. Still rolling Javonte out there. It's kind of rough. I think he will do better tonight, but he did not do it last week. And then Jordan Mason also getting hurt didn't help you either. So Dylan kind of getting some bad luck. I think Shaheed also got hurt in this game because he's now out for like 6 months. So not a great week health-wise. You also had Neighbors out and Olave out. He's a lot of injuries on that side. Hopefully, I know he won't be back, but Neighbors will be back this week, so that'll be good for you. Just wasn't enough for Justin, who put up a lot of points, even though Saquon and Dak both sucked badly. Chris Godwin, though, carrying you to victory here, and George Kittle. Solid numbers from everyone else. Not bad, but quarterback situation is not looking good. I've got Anthony Richardson. If you want him, send me a trade. Justin moves up to 3-3, and Dylan 2-4. Scotty from the Graves versus A-Ray. A-Ray was undefeated coming into this one. So I was kind of hoping that Brian would win here, and he did, 117-108. Brian did have a great, I think it was Sunday night, Monday night combination. Garrett Wilson getting him 20. Who else did? Tyrone Tracy got you 20 as well. I think that was Sunday night. So those combined really brought him up to get that win. Decent week out of most of his players. BK Kyle Pitts pretty much sucked. And then your kicker, yeah, it's terrible. A-Ray's kicker, though, tearing it up. And then about an average week for everybody. Really not bad overall for A-Ray here. Underperforming James Conner. Not a good outing by the Jets defense. And Gibbs has kind of been underwhelming as well. It's because David Montgomery's been doing so good. Who knows going forward? It was an unfortunate loss, but Brian gets it here. A much-needed win for our reigning champion because he was looking like he was headed to an 0 season. War for 4 football team. We got Caleb Simon. Simon got this win by an easy 30 points almost here. Caleb not getting a late scratch from James Cook sucked. You could have picked up Ray Davis, but it still wouldn't have been enough to get you the win, so who cares? Good pickup by Brock Purdy, though. He's looking good. Looking better than Mahomes, unfortunately. I know Mahomes is a great NFL quarterback, but he is not a good fantasy quarterback. Don't know what happened, why it happened, but it has happened. And he hasn't scored like 20 points since last season. unfortunately. Like 19, 18, 17, I guess that's a good floor to have. Like he's consistently above 16 points, but he has not had a big game in a while. Maybe he's due this week. Simon, solid week out of Jalen Hurts. Joe Mixon, you love having him back. Not a good week from Trey Sermon. Underperforming Jamar Chase, still put up enough points. And Terry McScorin is coming through in clutch for you this year. Him and Jay Daniels are connecting on a high level. And then finishing up Caleb's team, Pollard, Reed, George Pickens, not terrible. Oh, well, that's your projected. Pollard, Reed, Laporta. Laporta finally do something. I think he actually had one catch in that game, but it was worth 11 points. So not enough. Simon takes it 3-3. Caleb moves 4-2. And last but not least, we had Mitch. Desperation win for Mitch here. Actually, really solid score, 123-86. Dustin, his team is looking rough right now. He has not broken 100 in a while, at least to my knowledge. I don't know. Maybe you did last week. Actually, I think you did because I beat you. Mitch's team finally coming around a little bit. Joe Burrow's looking decent now. Bucky Irvin, good pickup there. He's looking like he's got that backfield at least for another week. And then Deontay Johnson, looking like a wide receiver one for the rest of the season. Him and the Red Rifle are connecting on a high level. Zay Flowers, solid week. Good streaming defense there with the Texans. Great decisions by Mitch. He's going to need something like this every week to get back. He needs to get to at least 3 and 5 here. He needs to win the next 2 to have a chance at playoffs. Dustin, though, rough week. I know he got hurt. Ayuk underperforming. You never start Mike Evans against the Saints. He's always shut down. Drake London has been Mr. fucking consistent as well. And then Josh Allen. Love Josh Allen. Great fantasy quarterback. 8 more yards, passing or rushing. I won $900 last week. So does Brian. But it didn't happen because that's what happens when you make parlays. And then Mark Andrews on your bench, actually not looking bad. A lot of zeros there, but he had injuries. He didn't play. Bye-bye. Started who you could. So, I mean, other than Mark Andrews over Kincaid, still wouldn't have been enough. That sucks. Maybe next week is your week. Let's go ahead real quick. Look at the final standings. Turn this fucking music off, y'all. So final projections, standings. I started at 1. I have not moved out of that spot. We have had a lot of shifts down here from the top teams. Simon to 6th, Caleb to 4th, to Dustin from 4th to 10th. That's rough. And then Brady 5th to 9th. But coming up at the bottom of the pack, A-Ray was actually projected 10th at the beginning of the year. That's interesting. So a lot of jumps from these teams from the bottom. It just means there's a lot of luck involved. You just never know what's going to happen here. And then I would do the projected playoff bracket, but no one really cares about that right now because we still got a lot of football to play. Let's take a look at our games for week 7. All right, looking at week 7 preview here. All right, let's start here with Brian versus Justin Miller. Miller looking for that win. Brian looking to stay like the reigning champ at 4-2. Really wants that win here. Miller trying to stay over 500. It's not as close as you think. 10-point deficit in Brian's favor. Looking at Justin's team. I think this music's loud. Hold on. Just a tad. It's not drowning me out. All right. Pretty good stream this week, I think, because you have Derek Carr, don't you? Yeah, that was a remember when you spent a lot of money on him, and he has done nothing since. But, yeah, starting Sam Darnold this week could be pretty solid against Detroit, although Dak didn't do anything against them. So maybe 2 weeks in a row you're about to struggle here. If Dak Cowboys would have scored a touchdown in the first half and the second half, I wouldn't $2,300, but we won't go there. Sam Darnold, you love the matchup. Saquon revenge game. I expect 30 points out of Saquon. If he doesn't do it, you need to trade him to me. Austin Eckler has been pretty consistent this year as well. I think Robinson's coming back. You don't like it, but it is against Carolina, so he could get quite a few more touches. Even if B-Rob plays, they may limit him or bring him out. So you like that there. Godwin's matchup proof. Darnell Mooney's actually looks solid, so pretty good streaming play right here. We'll see how Kamara does tonight. I actually like his under. Denver defense is no joke, and Spencer Rattler's our quarterback. So we'll see. Kittle against KC, you can expect a dud out of Kittle, maybe 0. Who knows? Just kidding. We actually suck against tight ends. Pretty good matchup for him. So not bad. He's got some pretty good matchups up here. Looking at Brian's team, though, Kyler Murray against the Chargers. We'll see. He's been hit or miss. Kyron Williams back. I expect him to do well. Dobbins should do well as well. That could be one of the picks of the draft for sure. He's looking really good. Garrett Wilson, we'll see what he does with Devontae Adams back. I know you have both of them on your team. Maybe you should start both. Who knows? But I don't think I would. And then you got DK and Kenneth Walker both playing Atlanta. Should be a solid game there. I think DK bounces back and finds the end zone. This is a tough one. I don't like your matchup with Garrett Wilson and Devontae there. It's going to be close. I'm going to take Justin in this one. Justin's going to take the win. Sorry, Scotty. You are going back to the grave. Moving on. War for 4 versus Dylan. Won't you be the neighbors? Close game here. 117 to 113. Once again, good matchup for Hurts. Eagles. Any Eagles player should be good in this one. Mixon. You like it. Aaron Jones, we'll see. He's kind of hurt playing Detroit, a good defense, but no Aiden Hutchinson now. Could be good for him. If he plays, I think he'll do well. I like your wide receiver matchups here. Same with your tight end. Good matchup for Wandale. Their secondary is bad. And then Saints defense against Bo Nix should be fine too. So good matchups all around over here. Looking at Dylan's team. If Marvin Harrison plays, which I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's been ruled out yet, but you like both these matchups here for both those wide receivers. Neighbors is going to feast, which could hurt that Wan'Dale Robinson play, but they've both been all right when they are playing. Got Evan Ingram back, looking like a top 5 tight end this season, so could be a turnaround week here for Dylan. We'll see if Jordan Mason plays. And then Javonte, I think Javonte actually does well against the Saints and gets in the end zone. He hasn't scored a touchdown this year, which is insane. I think he gets in the end zone, so going to be good. We'll see what happens tonight with your defense. That'll counter each other. And then Lamar's matchup proof. Tank Dell's looking good with Nico out. This one's a good one. Man, I don't know. Whew. I like Simon's running backs over Dustin's, but I like, you know what? Yeah, it's too much. Simon's going to take this one here. If Harrison plays and Ingram does really well again, Dylan has a chance, but right now, and then Javonte, but Simon taking this one. Moving on. Dustin versus Caleb. This would have been matchup of the week. Okay, it would have been if I wasn't playing my boss, but we'll get to that here in a minute. This is a very close game. I think everyone's in and playing and projected points. Just a little bit low scoring here. We'll see what Patty does against San Francisco. He has their number every time we play him, so could be a good week for Patty. James Cook's back. Don't like the matchup against Tennessee, but at least he's back. You love the matchup for Pollard. I think he'll do well. Jefferson and Jaden Reed are going to have pretty good games here. I think Jefferson's going to pop off. I think he's going to have like 25 points. Well, Goddard is back, I think. I'm not sure. I haven't actually heard anything on him. So Giants, if he plays, should do fine. Pickens, you hate it. And then defense is fine. Butker, we'll see. Looking at Dustin's team, let's see what the problem is. It could be that you took a running back. You waited until like the 7th round to take a running back, but Najee Harris actually looked really good last week, so he could do good. You got Brian Robinson back. He's playing Carolina. Could have 3 touchdown week. This could be a bounce back week for Dustin, especially playing at Caleb's team here. Decent matchup, good matchup, good matchup, good matchup, good matchup. There's a lot of good matchups here for Dustin. So I think I got to do it. I got to take Dustin in this one. He's going to upset Caleb. He's going to get that second win of the season. Hopefully jump in front of one of the other 2 1-5 teams. And going to our last game, it is the bottom of the league. We got Mitch versus Brady. 1-5 teams desperate for wins here. Someone's going to get one. That's good. Mitch is projected to win this one by 9 points. Let's go ahead and take a look at Mitch's team. Joe Burrow, who's been slinging. He's looking pretty good. Divisional game. I think he'll still continue to sling and still continue to bust that projection of 20 points. Josh Jacobs looked okay. Okay matchup. Not great. Bucky Irving. Hard to run against Baltimore. We'll see. But if Rachaad White's out, I expect him to at least score a tutty. Deontay Johnson against Washington. You love it. Ladd McConkey. I don't know. I guess you kind of have to start him. CD's on bye. Not going to start Keon. Maybe start Worthy as a reach there. McConkey's been okay, but I don't like it. Kelsey you love. Flowers you love. Mitch's team looking solid. Not bad over at Brady. Baker, number 2 ranked quarterback. That's insane. I put money on him to win MVP. Come on, Baker. Good matchups for both him and Bijan. So, once again, your top 2 players should do well. For Mondre's back, he's got a freaking juicy matchup. He's projected 0 right now, so Brady should have some more points. If he throws a running back in there, Zach Moss, maybe Algier. I don't know if he'd start. Maybe Tank. I guess if Etienne's not playing. I assume he's going to throw Etienne or Tank Bigsby in there because I don't think Ramondre's playing. Both your receivers should be fine. Minnesota's defense has been solid, though. So, historically, Amon-Ra has done well against Minnesota. Maybe he does that again here. You're hoping for it, but they have been pretty good defensively, so matchup there is not great. Shouldn't have dropped Jake Ferguson. I know he's on bye this week, but you've been streaming tight ends, him, Tyler Conklin. I don't even know other guys that you've been streaming, but I don't know why you ever would drop Jake Ferguson. He's been solid on my team, 6-0, by the way. And then last but not least, Packers, Chris Boswell. Packers are actually quietly good this year, number 2 defense. So I think if Brady gets Tank Bigsby in there or another running back, it's going to be a shootout between these 2 teams. I think Brady just has the slight edge as far as matchups go, minus Amon-Ra. And Mitch starting Ladd McConkey, I just don't like it. I'm going to give the win to Brady here. Brady's going to come back here, get 2 wins, hopefully a third in the week following. Woo! Sorry, I'm trying to make this quick. All right, and now you know what that is. Wow. It's time for Showdown of the Week. Wait. Whoopsies! Where's that at? Oh, there it is. Wait, there it is. Okay, there we go. Undefeated. Brees Lightning versus 5-1, previously undefeated before last week. He had to play Brian Hastert. Now he plays the better Hastert this week. A-Ray. Boss versus employee. I got to get my revenge somehow here. Looking like a pretty close projected matchup, actually. That's only because I don't have a kicker in yet. You think I'm going to drop Aubrey so you guys can get him? Hell no. It's like my best player. So right now, it is projected in my favor without a kicker, so that'll go up a few more points. But looking at the matchups, I'm going to start with A-Ray's team. He did go with C.J. Stroud. I know he was in between quarterbacks. He's got Kirk Cousins down here. I think he still might switch him in and out. Either way, it looks like both of them should have decent matchups here. I know Green Bay's been good, but I think that's more just like – I know they're giving up a lot of points, but they do have takeaways, so – Stroud, Kirk, I think both will be fine. Not the best matchup against Minnesota. I know they shut down Breece Hall a couple weeks ago, which, Breece Hall's a little bit better than Jahmyr Gibbs, in my opinion. Chuba Hubbard has been on a tear playing Washington. You love it. Same thing. We'll see if Stroud and Diggs can connect there. Diggs with Nico out has been good, so I don't think that the matchup matters on those two. Jair Alexander will probably be on Tank Dell, if I were to guess, in this one. Starting Tyreek Hill. He got him in that trade. He hasn't been the same without Tua. Tua comes back next week, I think, or that's what they're projecting. We'll see if he actually does. Brock Bowers, another steal on the draft. Got him super late. He's the number 2 tight end right now, playing the Rams. and he's the only wide receiver for Aiden O'Connell because Devontae's in New York now. What a stupid trade. Aaron Rodgers sucks. James Conner, don't hate it. Chargers have been okay. And then Jets versus Pittsburgh, you love it. Russ is going to throw some picks in this game, especially to the Jets in his first start of the season. And then this is a great pickup with Siebert, number 5 kicker. So overall, your team's okay. It's a couple bad matchups, but you still should do good. And then looking at my team, Jaden Daniels, maybe another steal in the draft at quarterback, currently number 3. I thought he was number 1. I think it's Lamar. But he has been very solid for me right now, especially with Anthony Richard just shitting the bed. I mean, he's been hurt, yes, but even in the games he hasn't been, it's been bad. So we'll see how he does this week against Miami. Maybe Miller will send that trade. Derrick Henry, freaking looking like old Derrick Henry, man. He scored in every single game, has a couple 2-touchdown games. The dude's a beast, playing Tampa Bay. Once again, I think he's also matchup proof just because he could sneak into the end zone at any point. You don't like the Breece Hall matchup here, but with the play calling change, he's been pretty solid. A.J. Brown against the Giants, love it. BTJ against the Patriots, you love it. He might get shadowed, though, by Gonzalez, so I don't really have any other options that I want to throw in at wide receiver. I wish I had Nico Collins, but I don't. Jake Ferguson's on bye, so I got Njoku. Hopefully he is the number 1 now that Amari Cooper is out of there. I hate the matchup with Minnesota, but I got to start Montgomery. He's just been too consistent this season. And then I've got the Broncos tonight against the Saints. I love it. Spencer Rattler, rookie quarterback, no Olave, no Rashid Shaheed. They're missing like 2 offensive linemen. It could be a rough night for the Saints. And then kicker, TBD. I have been a little cocky because I'm 6-0, and it's probably going to come back to bite me, and A-Ray is probably going to beat me in this one. So I'm going to have to take A-Ray, just bet against myself. I'll just go ahead, put it in my head that I'm going to get this loss and get it out of the way. But I'll take 6 wins, only a couple more, and I've pretty much locked myself into playoffs. So good luck. We got a lunch bet on this one. I can't wait to be wine dined and 69. Yikes. All right. Well, it's week 7, boys. This season really is flying by. It's crazy. Chiefs play the Niners. Can't wait for that. But before we go, I do want to show you what my bet is for tonight. 1 second. There it is. I have to stop that and then switch to this. All right, just a little 3-legger. If you want a tail, go for it. I put like $14.50 on this guy to win 77, but I like it. Rattler's passing under. I think he's going to be under pressure all night. He doesn't really have anyone to throw to. Juwan Johnson, if you want a receiver, I think the tight end for the Saints will be fine. Bo Nix rushing, 25-plus yards. He's hit that in like 4 of the last 5 games. And then Kamara, I think he's going to struggle because, one, I think the Saints should be trailing in this one. And that Denver defense is no joke. And like I said, their offensive line is beat up. So my 3 locks this week, go ahead, tail me. I like this one a lot. If you want to add a touchdown scorer, Bo Nix is a solid option. I think Javonte is due. He has not scored yet. And then Cortland Sutton. He's going to be a sneaky good play tonight, I feel like, too. Brian dropped him if you want to go pick him up. Outside of that, if I were to pick, I'm going to pick the Broncos in this one. I think they are going to win. If they would have won last week, I would have won $500, but we won't go there because we don't talk about parlays. All right, boys. Well, that's all I got for you. Maybe we'll do another one next week with me and Simon and Brian, or just me and Simon, or just Simon. Either way, hopefully we got one next week. All right. Good luck, everybody. You suck. I hope you all lose. Go Chiefs. Peace. Peace.